Hi, welcome. My name is Professor Larry Flick, and I'll be your professor for Principles of Management for the summer semester 2022. I wanted to introduce myself and take you through our Blackboard class website and MindTap. To start, let me emphasize that we will be covering the same material in 8 weeks this summer that would normally be covered in a regular 16-week semester, so please be prepared to spend a little extra time. Hello again. Here I want to talk about our Blackboard website, Principles of Management Online Summer 2022. This is the announcements page, which you'll land here every time you come into Blackboard. I want you to read everything on the announcements page, as I think, every Monday I'll be posting at a minimum our assignments for that week, and I'll be talking about prior assignments and grades and so forth. So it's important at least every Monday, but preferably many times through the week, that you check into our Blackboard website. Here we have a few things to do and talk about initially. And then at the bottom is a Getting Started link, which we'll get to in a moment. But at the top is a whole list of things to do, including the purchasing of the textbook and so forth. I want you to read this. And then we get into the textbook purchase information and the registration into MindTap and so forth. But let's go back to announcements for a second. What I wanted to do is show you and talk about some different things I believe in when it comes to education. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Now, I'm going to try my best to light a fire unto you so you experience a lot of good learning. Okay, the next one is tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. I'm going to make every effort to involve you as well. Some of the others I think are kind of interesting is if it matters to you, you'll find a way. If it doesn't, you'll find an excuse. Okay, well, enough of that. Let's go into the next item down the line, the next link down the main menu line, and that's Syllabus/Schedules. You'll see there are 3 links: Syllabus, class schedule, and college schedule. Let's go to Syllabus for a moment. Here's the syllabus for our class. It's maybe a little lengthy, but I do want you to read it all. And then in the end, focus on the grades and how they'll be calculated. There'll be 4 exams worth 50%. There'll be MindTap chapter quizzes, MindTap chapter quizzes, 10%. There'll be 1 paper on employee evaluations, 10%. There'll be a patent exercise worth 10%. I think you'll find that interesting. And then the discussion board questions will be worth 20%. Okay, that's important that you understand that. Let's go back to the syllabus and go to the class schedule. Here is a complete listing of assignments through all 8 weeks of the semester. I suggest that you put the important dates, deadlines, in your personal calendar. There basically are only 2 assignments that have deadlines. One of them is exams, and you'll have 4 days to complete an exam in 1 sitting, but they all must be done by Sunday at midnight. Okay, the other is paper. And also the patent exercise. Those 2 have deadlines as well. Okay, so let's go back to the syllabus and schedules and look at the college schedule. Here's a listing of everything of importance. Let's say the last day to select pass-fail or last day to withdraw from the class. This comes from the college. Okay, the next one is course content. This may be the most important and most used of all links. We've got the Getting Started that we'll go back to, as I mentioned, And here we talked a bit about what's on the top. I want to look at the textbook information. This semester we will be using the textbook Understanding Management, 12th edition, by Richard Daft and Dorothy Marsick. Okay, you can buy the book directly from the TRCC bookstore, or you can buy it directly from Cengage, the publisher. Let's click that link. Now, when you get to there, I suggest you click the Cengage Unlimited for $69.99. And then further, I suggest that you click Get Cengage Unlimited 4-month access. And I suggest you buy for $124.99 because that will give you everything you need to have, including for just $9.99 extra, a loose leaf textbook, which I recommend getting. Okay, let's go back to announcements for a second. And let's go back to course content where we looked at getting started. I forgot to say that there's a bunch of links under the textbook purchase information, like MindTap registration video that shows you how to register, and I'll show you the link in a minute of where to go to start the registration. There's effort and outcomes, kind of interesting, I think. What I tried to do here is let you know that if you do certain things and spend a certain amount of time, you could expect an A or a B. Now, I think it would be interesting if I think you'd be interested if you check that out, okay? Let's go back, and that was efforts and outcomes. This is a video that it's called SQ3R, Reading Method. And if you need some help in terms of remembering or studying for the exam, this is an excellent video. And then here is an exam tutorial that is very good that shows you how to take exams on Blackboard if you haven't done so already. And then there's technical support from Cengage and the TRCC support right here. Okay, so let's go back to course content. Now we've talked about everything on getting started. Here is the class schedule. Again, we talked about that. Here is our class where I will put your bios and pictures. Your pictures will go here and your bios here. And I just think this is important because it gives us a feeling of belonging, and there's other people in the class, and I'd like you to communicate with the other students and communicate with me especially, and I think this is a good page, okay? Back to course content. Okay, that's our class. Now, this is the link I mentioned before. This is under course content, and it's the fourth one down. And when you click this is where you will register into MindTap. And if you watch the video on getting started, it'll make it a little easier. Okay, I won't click that at this point. Now, let's talk about weeks 1 through 8. Again, this is in course content. And let's go to week 2 at this point. At the top, you're going to have the listing of things to do or assignments for the week, along with a short motivational quote, which will be different for each week. Now, going down, if you click here, you'll go directly to chapter 2, okay, of the reading. Now, if you go, well, let's go into chapter 2 and just take a peek. It takes a moment to load, but here we are in chapter 2. Now, what if we go into various different pages of chapter 2 and you want to get back to the index? Click up here, okay, right here. And then if you want to go to any particular thing, adapting to the environment, any particular part of the chapter, you can do that. And you can go back to the index again, and you can look at stories. And if you want, you can keep going through. Another thing is you can listen to somebody just read you the chapter. You can also adjust the size of the print, and I think that's the largest it goes. And you can also print, which is important. And so we can go back here, and that's enough. You'll want to learn to play with MindTap, because there's a lot to it, and there's a video there that kind of explains it a little further. Okay, so back to week 2. If we go down here, we just clicked on reading chapter 2. Now, here is a quiz. We call it practice, but it's a quiz that counts towards your final grade. So you need to click here and take the quiz, and again, that's important. Now, here are lecture slides that you can use to refresh your memory after reading the chapter, or simply as a study tool. And we have flashcards and so forth that will help as well when you study for exams. Then here's chapter 3, and the same thing. You'll find that a similar pattern will be for each week. Okay? Now here's down at the bottom an exam tutorial, which I think is also linked under the top. Okay. Now let's go back to week 2, and I think we've just about covered everything under course content, which is the most important link. Now let's go into the discussion board link here on the left, the main menu. You'll see that basically it's saying that we have one thing to talk about, okay, for each of the discussion board chapters. Now, here you've got chapter 1. It's a video on the job, Barcelona Restaurant Group, and so forth. If you click that, you can watch the video, and then I want you to answer each of the questions, okay? And then you'd hit reply to answer the questions, and then I'll go there, and then you'll have a chance to answer the questions and then submit. Okay? So let's again go back to the discussion board. Here we go. There we go, back to the discussion board. So you'll have a video for each of the chapters all the way through chapter 15. And it's important to know that I won't be responding back on every one of your submittals, but I will be reading them all currently. And if you don't give a good faith effort, and you'll see what other people do, and if you don't give at least a good paragraph answer, I'll get back to you and let you know. Okay. So now that's our discussion board. Let's go into messages for a second. And when you do, here's where you land. Now, if you want to create a message, you click here, and you want to address it to somebody. I'm going to address it to the top person. You need to move it over into recipients. Then you need to enter a subject, okay? And then you want to here type in your message. And then as you go down the page, note that you can attach things to any of the messages you sent. And then you would submit at that point. Okay, so I want you to use the message system, the Blackboard's message system, to communicate with me for everything involving the class. It's the only way I can keep track of everything. So that's important. And that's the message system. The next is, we'll just go back to announcements and go, the next is WebEx Meeting Room. Okay, here's where I conduct any office meetings. If you want to talk to me individually or you have a problem, and we can share screens and figure out the technical issues, if you will. Here's where I want you to go. And the only thing is we need to set up a time so we can both meet in the meeting room anytime. And I'm available almost all the time. So send me a message, ask me when it would be convenient, or just tell me or ask if I can meet you on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. And so we'll communicate, set the time, and we can meet in WebEx and hopefully accomplish a lot. Okay. The next is My Grades, and if you click on that, I won't click on it, but it'll give you all the grades that you have submitted, all the grades on all the assignments that you've submitted. Next is College Policies, which I'd like you to read. And then the following are 5 different subjects that the system incorporates in all the Blackboard sites. Read them when you have a chance. Okay, this is the end of our review of Blackboard. I want to wish you the best of luck, and we'll be talking to you soon.